We are only one day away from the Donald Trump Vice President Harris presidential debate. It might be the only one. We really don't know yet. There might be more, but it's going to really depend on how this one goes.
Even Biden's going to watch Tuesday's debate with low expectations. His team thinks Kamala's public performances are uneven and often not reassuring. They worry she struggles under the glare of national pressure. They find her risk-averse to the point of paralysis. So if Kamala Harris chokes under pressure and freezes with indecision, shouldn't they be warming her up with interviews instead of throwing her into the biggest debate of her life cold?
Is it a risk to put all your chips on one debate when she hasn't really been able to do any sort of Q&A with anybody except for in debate prep?
Well, I reject that. She sat down with Dana Bash for a long interview on CNN that aired
one
just
interview
a week ago.
in 47 days.
Well, you know, I know you guys are just now paying attention to her now that she's the presidential candidate.
They should hire me for a job like this. Why do you not say what I just said? Well, Kamala Harris has a record as a prosecutor, an amazing record in Senate hearings and as vice president. She knows what she's doing. She's prepared for the job, and she's been spending time on the road talking to voters. And that's why she's not doing media interviews, because it's really important for Kamala to talk directly to the American people. That's the answer you give to make Kamala look good here. Why is this person hired for this role, but not me? Why not me? I could do so much better.
And done a lot of interviews. And saying debate prep's going well, yelling that to the pool is not taking questions from the press.
It's funny because it's like you're acting like she's in the witness protection program.
Not witness protection.
That's such a weak response. Oh my goodness. I don't have anything to say really about Fox News that often because it's all like lies and dumb things. But when I see someone from my own side being bad at their job, and if they give weak sauce like that, that gets me, that'll get me, that'll get me heated.
Questions from the press.
It's funny because it's like you're acting like she's in the witness protection program.
Not witness protection, but she's strapped to a podium inside debate camp, and it's not going well. People are leaking. And now Democrats expect Trump to have a great night.
People know Donald Trump. He is a skilled debater. He is a guy who's willing to say anything at any time just to get through a question. And he's a showman. He's been on TV before. Yeah. So don't underestimate Donald Trump.
So what's going on behind the scenes at debate camp, I wonder? Well,
yeah, so Governor Shapiro essentially said that Donald Trump is willing to lie about anything, and he's good at lying. That's what he means when he says Donald Trump's good at debating, is he's good at looking good on TV. He's not saying Donald Trump is good at logically debating, or making sound points, or making good arguments. He's saying Donald Trump is a good showman. Shapiro did not give any credence or credit to Donald Trump's intelligence there.
Underestimate Donald Trump.
So what's going on behind the scenes at debate camp, I wonder? Well, her Frankenstein campaign still isn't sure where she stands on anything. And an insider says prepping Kamala is frustrating because while they're trying to train her on how to deliver a good punchy soundbite, she actually wants a thorough understanding of every issue that could possibly come up. Basically, Kamala is still trying to learn what her policies are. And her team's...
No, basically, Kamala cares about what the policies are. And in today's world, knowing your policies and talking about your policies is actually a bad thing. Because if you sacrifice showmanship for actual substance, you are going to be hurt in the polls. Because right now, it's all about good punchy sound bites. And Kamala is saying that she actually wants a thorough understanding. It's the opposite of not understanding your policies. And this is from a leak, supposedly. Talking about not understanding your policies, I know everyone saw this. Trump's response about childcare. Well, to help childcare. Well, I would do that. We're sitting down, and we had Senator Marco Rubio, and my daughter Ivanka was so impactful on that issue. It's a very important issue, but I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, because look, childcare is. Couldn't you know there's something you have to have it in this country? You have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of number, see what I mean? Trump's going to say this? He better stay away from talking about policy. Trump needs to go punchlines. If Trump goes policy, he's going to absolutely crash and burn.
Thorough understanding of every issue that could possibly come up. Basically, Kamala is still trying to learn what her policies are. And her team's like, Madam Vice President, it's a little too late for that. Let's not talk about the policies. That's not going to help. Here's a few zingers. Just memorize them. If you start debating policy, you're going to lose. And how does Kamala not have a thorough understanding of the issues by now? The only issues that are going to come up are going to be the economy, the border, abortion, and wars. This isn't Jeopardy. Moderators aren't going to ask her about 18th century European literature. Debate prep should be as easy as going on The View.
No, it's an issue because Kamala does not need to prepare for a debate. She needs to prepare for a TV showing, like a reality TV show. Politics right now in debates is more so like The Bachelor or Survivor being voted off the show or voted to be kept on the show. It's not about substance. It's not about winning the actual debate on terms of facts, because we know Donald Trump's just going to say a bunch of punchlines. He's going to say, I'm going to make prices go down. Kamala made prices go up. I'm going to do good things. Kamala does bad things. I'm going to do tariffs that'll magically only affect other countries that are going to pay for the tariffs. It will not increase prices, even though tariffs are basically another sales tax for Americans. I'm going to do good. Kamala's going to do bad. She's a communist. That's all Donald Trump's going to say. So if American voters don't really care about the substance, and if Kamala and Trump are tied in the polls, they don't care about substance that much. But Kamala needs to walk a fine line of having substance while also being entertaining with punchlines, because it's a result of the current political landscape being bad and not based on policy.
I don't know what Donald Trump is doing. I think he's preparing. I do know what Kamala Harris is doing.
Yes.
And I can tell you that no woman has reached the levels that Kamala Harris has reached without being incredibly prepared her entire life.
She didn't reach those levels by herself. I mean, she lucked out. All of these leaks about Kamala over-preparing, translation. She's under-prepared, and she's just trying to cram it all in at the last second. Is Trump going to take the bait?
I'm going to let her talk because, you've all seen it. There are those that say that Biden is smarter than she is, okay? And if that's the case, we have a problem. You could go in with all the strategy you want, but you have to sort of feel it out as the debate's taking place. I've seen it. You go in there and you have a strategy. Mike Tyson made the statement, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. It's true.
Yeah, and that's the Donald Trump plan. Donald Trump needs to call the opponent stupid and make a joke. That is Donald Trump's entire debate strategy. If Kamala forces Trump to talk, then he will lose. And Kamala's goal in this process should be to get on Trump's nerves. When you're battling a narcissist, you need to understand what makes them tick, because Donald Trump cannot control himself. He is literally suffering from, he's suffering from a, narcissistic mind that will not allow himself to shut up if you offend him enough. And he's very, very easily offended by literally everything. So Kamala needs to keep on bringing up the election he lost, needs to keep on bringing up how he couldn't get any infrastructure done, and all of Donald Trump's failures as president. Whenever something happens, Kamala she should give a short answer, and then Kamala should give it right back to Trump and say something he did wrong, piss him off, and then have Donald Trump ramble forever.
It's a brilliant statement. It's a brilliant statement. The way I look at debating, I think I've been really practicing all my life for this stuff. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's sort of about.
But if she's going to try and annoy you, but that's
well, I think we have a bigger problem. I think that ABC will try and annoy me.
Trump is very correct that he's been training his entire life for this, because he only profited off of being a reality TV star and a brand. If Trump was not a reality TV star and a brand, he would have made no money on his own. He got his family's business. He got his small loan of $100 million. He inherited $500 million from his father. And then Trump lost money with every business he actually tried to do. He bankrupted so many companies, and he profited off of his roles on reality television and in speaking engagements. That's what Donald Trump was good at. He was really good at pretending to be a businessman. He was never good at actually being a businessman, and everyone fell for it. So Trump was preparing for this style of debate for his entire life, for sure. Being a spoiled rich kid going into reality TV definitely prepares you to lie on stage and try to look good with a bunch of zingers and punchlines. But when it comes to actual topics and whatever, Donald Trump will fall apart. If Kamala Harris can force Donald Trump to try and get into the substance of literally anything, she will win. This is a battle of temperament more than anything. And it's sad politics has gotten to this point, but it's always been like that. Ronald Reagan was an actor, Donald Trump an actor, Arnold for California was an actor. We've had WWE stars become governors of states all over the place. Actors do very well in politics for a reason, because people watch it and they like what they see. Their credentials don't matter as much. You can even argue that there's so many lawyers in politics, not because they have the credentials, but because they are good at talking and they are good on camera.
We've covered Trump for almost 10 years. The only thing that's going to put him on the defensive is if you say he went bankrupt or he's a bad golfer. You can say anything else about the guy, and they have, and he just shakes it off. But he can't spend.
Yeah, Trump definitely shakes everything off, dude. I've never heard Trump complain or cry or whine about literally anything. Donald Trump is just like that big tough guy. These words don't hurt me. Sticks and stones may break my bones. But I was on Epstein's jet one time.
The entire time defensive.
Says.
He needs on Tuesday to have her on the defensive the whole night. He needs to methodically define her with repetition. He's good at that until it sinks into the voters' brains. The Clintons, who debated Trump, know what to expect and are feeding her lines.
My hero, my pal, my former boss, Bill Clinton, had it right at the convention. Don't count the lies, count the eyes. The back half of Kamala's answer to you was right. Yes, he's a fighter, but he fights for himself. It should be one of the through lines in this debate for Kamala Harris is, I'm for the people, Trump's for himself.
It's the one line Kamala can remember. Now she's a populist.
Maybe if Kamala says, look at this guy. He's whining about the last election. He's whining about everyone being against him. All he does is whine. All he does is cry. How about we focus on helping people? Let's talk about these policies I'm going to do to help the American people. And if he keeps whining, I will be, maybe not the adult in the room, but I will be the leader in the room. And I will talk about what's going to affect you at home. I'm not obsessed with myself. I'm not obsessed with my own ego. I'm obsessed with what I can do to be a good leader. And that's one of the reasons why I took so long to develop my policy platform, because it's important to me. I'm not just going to throw out tariffs like Trump did and increase the cost of every good by adding a sales tax to your goods like Trump wants to do. I'm not just going to eliminate Roe v. Wade. I'm going to make sure you have these rights. I'm going to make sure all of this stuff is done. I'm going to cut down on corporate price gouging. All of this stuff that sounds popular, redirect it back to that.
We know what we stand for, and we stand for the people. And I am a fighter for the people. Yeah. I care about the people. Kamala Harris for the people.
I really like this outfit. I hope they do something that's all dark color, so like all black or all navy. I really like, I don't know what this is called. It's like a scarf. I don't know style, but I really like the way this looks. It looks very strong to me, very bold. I don't like the bright colored suit jackets or whatever, but I really do like these suits. Or not the suit jackets. The thing Hillary won, the pantsuits, or wait, I don't know what they're called. I did not like the way Hillary, I did not like that outfit, but I really like the way Harris is dressed here. I think it does gives off a really strong leadership vibe, in my opinion.
And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people.
As soon as Trump hears that, he should just turn to her and say, yeah, you're for the people, all right? The people of Mexico, the people of Venezuela, the people all over the world who you let into this country. You're not for the American people. The only people you're for are the rioters you bailed out, the IRS agents you hired to make our lives miserable. That's not the people. I put the American people first.
All the new IRS hires were hired to go after like higher income earners. The reason we expanded the IRS was specifically because the IRS was underfunded. And the only people who got more headaches from the IRS are those making tons and tons and tons of money. I know people don't like taxes in general, but the IRS expansion was so that the IRS would be able to properly tax more of our rich. If anyone's watching this who does not know that.
She's been part of the Biden administration. I mean, she has been part of the Democrats have been in control of the country for the last 3 going on 4 years. And you are still seeing this in the polling. I mean, these working class voters are telling us right now that more of them are with Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. Why? What is it about what you guys have been doing for the last 3+ years that explains that?
Well, I think, again, we're trying to talk to the voters and explain this message. We've got 60 days until the election. We don't have time to sit around and think about why over the last few years certain things may have happened or may not have happened. We've got to go in.
Why is he giving up that talking point? Why is he even doing that? You should be talking about how America was one of the countries that I think we're actually like the #1 country to rebound from the COVID pandemic. The American Rescue Plan, the infrastructure plan that was bipartisan that Trump could not get done. Trump got no infrastructure done. And also the Inflation Reduction Act. Talk about the good policies in those. How our prices and our inflation rate came down and are lower than any other country in the world. Our gas prices have been lower than other countries in the world. We are leading, the entire globe. I don't know why this person from Harris's campaign is so poorly prepared for this. And it really makes me annoyed that he's probably getting paid a lot of money.
One candidate's hiding from the people. The other candidate this week did a town hall, held a presser, did an hour podcast, spoke to business leaders.
Yeah, he rambled incoherently, called people stupid, said there was a witch hunt against him, and repeated that same exact thing like 50 times. He avoided actually answering any questions. And this is part of the participation medals that we now give to Donald Trump and JD Vance. These participation medals for showing up and doing interviews. Wow, good job. You came to the interview. You failed to answer literally any question, but at least you showed up to the interview. But people care about vibes and identity and the culture war. So talking like this is going to be effective. Saying that she doesn't like cops or whatever. It's very clear that she's running a very moderate campaign. Calling her a communist who wants to defund police is hilarious. When you look at the border bill she wants to pass, when you look at the small business tax deductions she wants to pass, when you look at everything she wants to do with the opportunity economy, and just giving out, or not giving out, but just passing extended and expanded child tax credits, she's running a very moderate campaign on many, many, many issues. So hopefully everyone can see when Trump calls her Comrade Kamala and communist. I personally don't think the majority of Americans know how bad Donald Trump has gotten with speaking and how sick he does look and how terrible he sounds answering questions. I don't think the American public really knows that. All Kamala needs to do is answer questions strongly. If she's going to attack Donald Trump, attack his ego and get him to rant incoherently and get him really mad. That's all she needs to do. Have a decent performance and let Donald Trump crash and burn. If Trump has a good performance, I will be absolutely shocked about the debate. Maybe he survives without getting hit that bad. But there's a lot more for Trump to lose in this debate than there is for Kamala. All she needs to do is come prepared, and hopefully the person who was doing the interview, where is he? Hopefully this person is not on the team. I hope he's not on the team that's helping prepare her.